Hello and welcome to the Natural Dog Training Academy. I'm Sonia Dombroski.
And I'm Lorna Mackay. Welcome to our YouTube channel. This is the first of what's going to be a series of dog chats that Sonia and I are going to deliver to you. Now, this came about because we both run our behavioural businesses and we've worked together a lot, but we work in different parts of the country. So we're always chatting, we're always talking about sessions, dogs, different things, constantly bouncing things off each other. And we thought it might be quite a good idea to set up this informal dog chat so that we can talk through our experiences of different situations with dogs. Isn't that right, Sonia?
Yeah, and also because recently we put on Instagram a post about what people most struggle with. There was barking, there was a new puppy, walking and recall. We actually do have walking to heel and recall course available, don't we, Lorna, at the
Yeah.
moment, and all our other courses will be coming very soon. So in the dog chats, there'll be many, many topics covered, and we'll cover barking, we'll cover new puppies, aggression, all sorts. But what we thought today is we're actually going to talk about when is the right time to get a second dog. Whether you've got an older dog already and want a puppy, or a youngish dog and want to get a puppy or a second younger dog. So Lorna's going to have a chat about having an older dog and getting a puppy.
Yeah. I've actually been working with quite a number of clients recently who have brought in a puppy and their other dog is 10, 11, 12, 13 years of age. So I've got first-hand experience of the sort of issues that creates. Now, it can be an extremely happy situation, but you've got to realise that an older dog and a younger dog have different needs and different requirements, and you've got to take those into account. And probably the most important thing, particularly for the older dog, is to have somewhere quiet that it can go to get away from a boisterous puppy. Now, not all puppies are very boisterous, but they do have lots more energy than a 12 or 13-year-old dog. So you need to make sure that your environment when you introduce the puppy is suitable, not only for the puppy, but for your older dog as well. You've got to take note of that and have somewhere safe for them to go, somewhere quiet. It's not so much safe, it's more somewhere quiet. It may be a crate if your dog's used to a crate. They won't all be using crates at 13, but that can be very useful. Or just another room or a space that they can take themselves away when they need to get away from the boisterousness of a puppy. One of the other main things to really watch and be careful with introducing a pup, again, is nutritional needs. They are quite different. When you have an older dog, you know, what they eat they've sort of settled down into a pattern of eating. You bring in a very young puppy who has massive nutritional requirements, who will eat anything and just hoover it up. And so often it can be that the older dog eats an awful lot slower because they've had no competition for many, many years. And plus, they can just be a bit slower in eating their food. They take their own time. And then in comes this whirlwind of a puppy who is desperate for food. Wouldn't you agree? So you're desperate for food. And before you know it, they can be sometimes, trying to get over to the older dog and take the food. And that is not a good scenario to have. So you just need to be aware of that. And possibly it's a case of just feeding them, at least in the early months of your puppy, until they settle down and grow a little bit and mature a bit. Feed them separately so that your older dog, again, has the time and the peace and quiet to eat where they want and not worried about a puppy looking over their shoulder. Because in many cases, that's what can cause issues between two dogs, where the older dog, doesn't want the competition, and they can sometimes tell that younger dog off if they keep going. Wouldn't you agree, Sonia?
Yeah, and what you need to remember is that your puppy is going to be hungry,
Mm.
and your older dog is competition for the
Mm-hmm.
puppy. as well. So feeding in separate rooms, there's nothing worse, is the Lorna, for a dog to be eating worried that the
Yeah.
next dog is going to come and take it away.
Mhm.
And, you know, just assuming, you know, that your older dog will be top dog because it's older is definitely not the case, you know. So
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because most people say to us, don't they, Sonia, that oh, he or she's the boss because they're the oldest. That's not the way it works. Yes, very young puppies don't have much status, but it could be that your pup, as it grows, is going to be, you know, its personality is different to your other dog. So don't assume that the older dog is always going to be top dog. It's a mistake an awful lot of owners make.
definitely, definitely. And just to go back on what you were saying about finding that same space, how many older dogs, Lorna, that you've been to where they've got a new puppy and they get on the sofa for that safe space because the puppy as yet
Yeah.
get on the sofa, but there's going to be a time in a few weeks or, you know, a month where that puppy then can get on the sofa. So yeah, having a separate room is a good idea. But also, you know, the more hungry or tired a puppy is, the more energetic they can get.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so definitely rest is important for your
Mhm.
puppy.
Yeah. I think it's just about thinking ahead
Mm,
and sort of looking at situations that might develop and being in control of them as the owner. That's really the important thing,
mm,
that you know, you're managing those situations.
mm,
You know, in most cases, pups and older dogs get on fine. Sometimes it can take a few weeks.
mm,
Quite often, Sonia, I think you agree that we can get called in by worried owners who bring in a puppy and they find that the older dog just is not getting on with it at all. And of course, they're panicking and thinking this is never going to settle. But it does. But it is up to the owners to manage those situations. And you find in a few weeks that they can end up the best friends,
mm.
really.
Well,
Best of
how
friends.
how many times as well, you know, they've got an older dog and it's all of a sudden got a new lease of life.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that's a great thing as well. You know, suddenly you've taken 5 years off your dog. However, if you've got an older dog, like say 13, 40, 50,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there is you know there's not long left, then it's probably not the best time to get a puppy, you know, because then that can cause problems as well, can't it?
Yes,
So
yes.
you've not got long left with.
Yeah, yeah, but I think a lot of people think, well, I don't want to be left with no dog, so
Yeah.
I'll bring one in. And you know, that is totally understandable. I think it's
Mm,
just a case of thinking it through and managing it, you know.
mm, mm,
But equally, Sonia, it's not always the young dog and the old dog that can cause issues, as we
mm,
know. Often bringing in another another dog and having two young dogs, as
mm.
you've got a lot of experience of as well, can cause issues.
Mm.
Um,
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know, it's like that choice. Do you get, if you've got a boy, do you get another boy?
mhm,
Do you get a girl? So I mean, girls can get along, boys
mhm,
can get along. But the best thing is normally boy and girl, which
mhm,
is absolutely great. But yeah, if you've got like a 2 or a 3-year-old, you've got a pretty young dog, you want to bring in a puppy, do think about, well, what behavior is your dog showing? Is it
mhm.
is it a good dog? You know, do you not really have any behavioral issues and they listen to everything? Then great, yeah, bring a puppy in or a younger dog, because there's nothing like a dog to teach a dog, is there, Lorna?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
in that situation, you know, your older dog is probably going to teach your new dog quite a lot. However, if you do have issues and you think, oh, getting another dog will solve these issues, it doesn't. It will probably make matters worse because, again, there's nothing like a dog to teach a dog.
Mm,
Younger
mhm.
dog might mirror your other dog, wouldn't you agree, Lorna?
Oh yeah, I think we both see that a lot, especially if your original dog's a bit of a barker,
Mm,
you know, and you've never thought that was an issue. And then you bring in another dog, and before you know it, you've got two dogs barking. Well,
mm,
that's completely different to having one dog.
mm,
So yes, it's good advice, Sonia, to think about what are the issues with your other dog before you introduce another one, and maybe sort some of those first, perhaps.
Definitely.
Depends how bad they are, to be honest. But yeah, but most dogs learn to get along provided the owners are managing it, which is what we talk about a lot, leadership. Provided the owners are showing those dogs that they're in charge and not the dogs being in charge, then usually you can sort out most of these issues. And, you know, it's great to have two dogs. I mean, the benefits, I think, way outweigh any disadvantages, really, because when they get on, they play with each other, they're company for each other. Yeah, there might be a wee bit of rivalry. You do get that when you get two dogs. Sometimes people get quite surprised at that when there's a little bit of play fighting going on, but that's very common in a pack situation. It's just they're sorted, as long as it's not excessive. Would you agree they're sorting themselves out, Sonia?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, and dogs can be playing and it can look really rough and aggressive, but they're just playing. But if it does get too much, you know, as long as they're listening to you, stop it. Because you can get to a stage if one hurts the other, a fight can start that way, can't it? So it is quite important to stop it. But again, with dogs, many things are competition. Food, toys, even walking on the lead, aren't they, Lorna? That's competition. So you may have, you know, your dog that walks lovely, you get your second dog and all of a sudden they're pulling like a train. We see that many times.
Oh, absolutely. And if you add children into the mix and you go out for a walk with your dogs and children, well, if the children are ahead of the dogs, you've got no chance, because it's just the way a pack works. They'll try and pull to get ahead of the children. That's just the way it is, really.
Yeah. So it is important as well when you get that second dog to spend some one-on-one time, isn't it, Lorna, with your dog's training. You know, don't try and do both together, because at the beginning it's just not going to work. It's going to seem really difficult and you're going to get frustrated. So to do one-on-one is quite important. And once your dogs are well behaved, then go out as a family, have your children in front. It really won't matter then, will it? But at the beginning, while you're teaching it, it definitely does. With the situation of the same, you know, with puppies in the same litter, we always advise not to, unless you're getting a boy and girl. But then obviously you definitely need to have them done. But it's important, you know, if you want two puppies, choose two different litters, isn't it? But that's another topic about puppies, but that's important, that, isn't it, Lorna?
Yeah, a bit like two brothers or two sisters, as always, or not always, but there can be a bit of rivalry, but with dogs in particular, yeah. So I think, as you say, it's another topic, but just something to be aware of. And two puppies of the same age is great, but be aware of how much work is involved. Sometimes I think people underestimate the amount of work. Two puppies from the same litter will support one another, you know, so it's even more important that you get your leadership right and you get your rules and boundaries right from day one.
Definitely. I always say to my clients, having a puppy is like having a baby. It's hard work. The only difference is you can actually physically go out the house and leave it by itself for a short while. That's it. That's it. So really hope that you've enjoyed this dog chat. There'll be many more to come. We can't commit to one a week, can we, Lorna? Because we work, you know, full time with our one-to-ones, but we will be getting more out there. And please subscribe and watch out for the next one. And we hope you've enjoyed this one. Do put some comments. We'd love to hear from you, and also love to know what you would want to hear about. So thank you very much for watching. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.